All right, hello everyone. Once again, I'm Weather from the Summer School Discord, and I'm here this time to follow the Malzahar mid versus Zoe. Uh, and like always, win conditions, right? Starting it off. Um, this game, it looks like there's a couple of interesting problems, so it might be a little unique. You've got a hyperscaling AD carry, but you've also got a hyperscaling jungler. You've got two pretty much pick based champions and then a split pusher slash pick champion. So what this really means is your team has very limited peel, very good kind of split push, but no one really wants to enter the fight early if you don't get a pick. Now, where your problem kind of arises is their team has better pick. Their team's pick is, rotating around the Bard ult or the Zoe bubble. And if you guys are sieging something, trying to get the Lux Snare to land, right? It's very easy to land a Bard ult behind you guys, or a Zoe bubble from the side, or something like that. So you guys have a pretty tough time dealing with their pick with relation to what team you have. Now, if you guys try and just split push, they also have an okay amount of split push between Renekton's really strong, but falls off a little bit, and Lee Sin's strong early. So if the Lee Sin plays this right, getting the Renekton a little bit ahead of this lane is going to kind of dominate it. And I'm under the assumption that the Lux is role swapping. Uh, we'll see if I'm right or not. If we actually do have a Camille support, then that's a little bit different too. But anyways, your team doesn't really want to fight. Your team doesn't want to go in. Your team has all of these people that are looking for picks or cleanup, because the Kog'Maw, if he fights someone, he's got to make sure no one can get on him. And there's no peel for him really. There's your team has two crowd control things that can really peel. The Malzahar ult, if you want to use that on a frontliner that's diving him, or the Lux Q that's dodgeable or slash missable. So your team fight is pretty lousy. And what you need to do with this then is work on a split push and work on picks. Your pick comp revolves around the Malzahar ult, the Camille stun, or the Lux root, right? That's it, and then someone else putting a lot of damage down. So I know I say this a lot, but it comes down to vision control. Vision control is going to set you up with those picks. It's going to find Zoe off to the side. It's going to let you out behind her. It's going to kill the Zoe before she throws her bubble on you. And then they have to leave the tower because their only wave clearer is Jinx. Right? That's what would happen. So what you want to do is make sure you can control the sides of the lanes where Zoe is going to throw bubbles, and to make sure that you play where you have vision and sweep. And this means pink wards are going to be very important. So that doesn't tell you how you're going to play a lane, though. Mid lane matchups are kind of tricky because they vary so wildly. You can play against a mage and assassin, or even a tank Galio. You can play against like everything mid. I guess that's also kind of the same top right now with the current meta of like you can play Quinn top or what Alawi or whatever. But anyways, the Malzahar matchup into Zoe. Zoe's really weak against spell shields. So if you got a Banshee as well, there's pretty much no way she's going to kill you late game. She's never going to be able to get a bubble on you that kills you because your Banshee fucks up her combo. And I think that you still get the drowsy with your spell shield as Malzahar passive. I don't know. I'll see. Probably not actually. But either way, that doesn't mean you should be sieging. Your siege into their team is risky, and it's because they have so much that they can engage on your team and pick your team. You want to be playing around your rotations where you have vision control. That's what you want to do. Rushing into this now. I love you. Thank you for doing this, adding this to your play. Excellent. Good job. And you can see exactly why I had their vision on. Thank you. Very nice stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff. Excellent stuff. Hmm. So one thing that you're not doing incorrectly, it's just telling you a little bit about this matchup that you can obviously see. Zoe has very good backline wave clear. The way she's playing this lane right now, she's definitely definitely obvious. She obviously beats you to level 2. You're obviously not going to do anything to her at level 2. What this also kind of means, though, if she continues playing like this, she's going to have a window where she's vulnerable to ganks because she seems to be hitting this backline often and is very far extended. Obviously, your jungler is not going to gank right away. You know, you can't expect someone to come immediately. But expecting that she continues to play like this, you could call for a gank here. Because this is going to bounce, and then she's going to push in the next one, and then it's not going to go all the way. So then exactly 2 waves from now, it's going to be in that same situation where she's playing too far up. Oh, no, okay, you're hard pushing it. I think you're just trying to contest that, contest her wave pushing. But then she ends up doing it again over here. So this is a great ward. I know I showed you this ward. That's going to help you a lot. Catches him out. Okay. Interesting. So one thing that's something that you might need to concern yourself with a little bit more is resources. You've used a lot of your mana so far, so if you do get into another fight, you have enough for your combo plus like one spell, and then you're out of mana. And if you saw how much your combo did to the Lee Sin, it did like a third of his life. So you've already at this point, you have no kill potential. You have no kill potential right now. You would be relying totally on the Master Yi doing the damage if he was to gank mid or go on the Lee Sin. Your lane positioning here is bad. If you're trying to force someone to get ganked, right? The way you would do it is you would walk to the other side of the lane because you see how they're playing here? Naturally, you're going to be on the other side of the lane, just naturally. You want to be as far away from the enemy person as possible but still able to hit the minions. Just the way it kind of works, right? That's why she's playing over here. It's because you're hovering around these bushes. This is a very obvious setup for a gank, or you're just afraid of getting ganked yourself, but that's obviously not the case because you just forced the Lee out. So it was an obvious gank attempt. Very obvious. If you want to make it not obvious, just return to your wave and then push her up by playing to this side. Here's my example of not having kill pressure. You had enough for one combo and one spell. As your one spell, it's not going to do damage. Resource management. You can't even stay to really... You're not going to be able to match her clear now. Yeah, so recalling here is what you'd have to do, just because you've used all your mana. Yeah. Also, I would have taken Cleanse into this matchup instead of Heal as your starting thing. But you're apparently using Unsealed Spellbook, which I didn't know. Okay. Hmm. So you don't ping Mia's either. This was a pretty obvious play, her coming down here. I don't think you pinged Mia. Did you ping Mia? No. So your tracking of your own lane, you see how she walks down here? Is lacking. She should have had this kill, 100%. Only reason she did not have this kill right away is because she missed, and she should have hit that. Yeah. You overstay for this fight, and you end up having to use flash for it. You don't do enough damage early. And now that you don't have flash, you have essentially no kill pressure once you hit 6. If you had kept your flash, you would have been able to flash on her and kill her if she had come to the lane like this. You're also, at this point, completely disrespecting where Lee just was. Lee's probably doing Raptors and they're going to come mid. Oh no, he based? Okay. I would have expected him to stay around and gank you. If the Zoe was staying around like that. So your biggest problem so far is your resource management with mana. And I know Malzahar has a refund on his E, so you need to better use that. And tracking your lane, you have pretty good knowledge now with where the jungler should be. But then, how does this happen, right? This happens because you're just pushed all the time. It doesn't matter what the jungler's clear should be if you're pushing like this, because they're going to come for the free kill. It's never a safe option to do this. Never. It doesn't matter where the jungler should be, they will stop their clear to come and get this 300 gold. You're at the center of the map, they always have access to you if they want it. So this right here is very disrespectful. That's 3 things so far. Tracking your lane, overstaying like this, and resource management. You should just... I would have just accepted my death there. You need to work on your combo too. But you got out, so it's whatever. Hmm. You're slow at realizing what's happening down here. Um, this was an incredibly obvious play back from the gank mid. Do you know what makes it obvious? If you're watching the minimap, do you see how they kite here? Do you see how the bard kites? Why would he be doing this? The only reason he's doing this, going this aggressive, is because a gank's coming in. And at this point, you can recognize that this is a problem, right? Maybe you're not, but that you should. And at this point, you should be looking down here, just by the way the minimap looks. Just by the way the minimap looks. And then as this continues, maybe you would want to show up late to ensure you get a kill, right? Show up now. You're focusing on the CS, but you're going to lose some anyways, because the time you choose to TP, not only do you not get the kills down here, but you miss a wave mid. You're guaranteed to miss a wave mid. So inefficient use of TP. You got to fix your combo. She couldn't even dodge that. She wasn't TP'd away. You could have comboed correctly there and done a ton more damage. Resource management, tracking your lane, teleport, combos, lane positioning to force ganks, disrespect with overstaying. And this is your decision too. If you're really trying to make something happen here, first thing you should be thinking about is well, you don't have R because of what you did earlier. And then you need to be thinking about whenever you're doing your like counting, right? A turret is basically an extra person. Basically just one extra person. So you didn't really have an advantage here. You didn't have R, and you didn't know what summoner spells they had, probably, because they had heal and flash on Jinx. Master Yi wasn't going to dive this with you. All in all, that meant you were going for this really risky play, and you got punished for it. You knew it was warded, and you came back here. If you're trying to make something happen on some other part of the map, then I understand, right? But make sure you have the ability to get the kill. You need your ult for this kill. You're playing Malzahar, and not only do you misclick and you E a minion, or not E, is that his Q? That's his E. Yeah, that's his E. But you wouldn't have gotten it even if you E'd the right target. Look at how healthy they are, and they have heal. You forced this dive. You forced it. If you had just walked through lane, you could have sieged the turret down. But because you were over here, the Kog'Maw had to get pushed off, right? No minions. No one was tanking. He wasn't going to tank. This was your decision. So I think you need to definitely pay more attention to your roams. Your roams with your kill potential is really the big thing. And your positioning. Your positioning over here was dangerous and disrespectful. And really there's no simple answer to this. It was just a poor decision. There's no like learning that I can really give, like no trick here. It was just a poor decision. And then you lose all this too. Whenever you're roaming, you're losing out on a lot. Not only did you die and you killed one of your teammates, but you missed 2 waves mid. Also, if you were looking at the map, whenever you were doing your roam, when you were making up your mind to go bottom, maybe you thought that you were going to go and get a tower, right? That's why you were going for those kills. Well, just go and siege the tower then. You don't need to dive. You don't need to. If you wanted to go top lane to try and help them, then that's another thing. Sure, maybe you would have tried to help this. Maybe you would have tried to get a kill up here. Probably would have been more likely. Just shoving in. You're letting the Zoe roam all over the place. Do you know why the Zoe's roaming all over the place? Well, for starters, your ward's here. That's not really going to stop Zoe from roaming. You haven't bought a pink ward this game. It's not really going to stop her from roaming. You don't keep her here because you roam and you fail your roams. So she doesn't have to be here to CS. Of course she's going to roam. She has complete free reign of this map, and you're not even calling Mia's. And now you try and follow her whenever there's nothing to get. See? Not only, even if you have gotten that, you wouldn't have gotten the turret, you would have just gotten a kill. Exactly. Question mark pings. And the way you stayed top tilted your top laner to the point that they suicided. All right. This game's a stomp here. At this point, this game's a stomp. I see that down the line more things happen, but at this point, they should really just have the game. The gold is 6K in their favor. They have a turret up here. If they want to, which they probably do, they'll be able to get mid soon. You get one turret down here, but they're going to get mid, and they're probably going to get dragon. So it does stop drowsy. Okay. Yep. Mid turret. So what's causing this, right? Let's take a little while and fast forwarding. Talk about what's causing this. Well, it's not that you have a luck support. It honestly isn't. It's for starters, your management of resources. You have no kill potential whenever you do it. And your ult, you don't pay attention to its cooldown whenever you roam. Your positioning in your roam is forcing a dive when your team doesn't want to. You have no tracking of the enemy laner or the enemy jungler after a point because you just decide that you're going to push super duper hard, and of course he's going to gank you. It was super disrespectful to do that. Your playstyle this game is very disrespectful in many ways, and it seems like you just get tilted off the face of the earth because you don't even try and track the Zoe. Like on the map before she roams. You try and track her after she roams, and then you just hunt her down for kills, which doesn't mean anything. You also tilted your top laner by staying for that top wave, which whenever someone question mark pings you like that, you just need to leave it, because that led to this very indirect, but it did. Yeah, see, this game's just falling out of control, spiraling out. And you can always get back into this game with picks, but you currently have really poor vision. So unless you improve on vision, which is a very broad thing that this game needs to work on, then that's going to be maintain a problem, and there's going to be no way to come back. Yep. I think this is your ward. That's a good spot, but it's a bit late. Like, even though you see them here, not going to stop anything. Yeah, I'm pretty. The game's over here. So biggest issues. I know you're having trouble with dealing with someone who roams, but you're not shoving in the wave, and whenever you do shove in the wave, you have incredibly low health with no vision of the enemy jungler, and of course he's going to come gank you. You need to buy a pink ward if someone's roaming like this. You need to. You need to better use your wards, and you just warded in the center of your lane. That does not help you. It helps you against perhaps poke, but if they're roaming like this, then they're getting their kills elsewhere. You also need you need to improve your combos. You had pretty good Rise combos if I remember correctly, but your Malzahar combos are completely lacking. They're completely lacking. Um, from misclicking on minions to just while they were TPing, not using your correct rotation. Problematic. Um, you that dive that you forced was pretty game changing, and then how you just chased for kills top lane was also game changing. Those were two big mistakes, and there's no real trick to that. It just felt like you were trying to force something like the Zoe was doing across the map, and you didn't know how. You don't have to do stuff like that if you can prevent them from roaming successfully with proper wards. The time you rotated bottom to try and get those kills, it was not in a good spot to even look for this. It was not a good roam. The time you chased top, nothing would have been gotten after you had these kills. Even if you'd scored these kills, it would have changed nothing. So it seems like you just tilted this game, and that's largely one of the reasons why this game's over. The biggest improvements that you could find through this game would be to not overstay like pushing them under their turret with low health. Respect the map a lot more. Whenever it comes to like TPing bottom, you waited way too long. And when it comes to staying this far with the jungler low, well, with you low and not knowing where the jungler was, my bad. That was really disrespectful. No items are going to save you from that, and no strategy is going to prevent those things from happening. You have to just, think it through. The wave wasn't in a spot that could dive. You didn't have a tank support that could set up for this dive, and even if you had, they had heal still. Risky. There was nothing to get up here. Uh, that you also don't ping missings, which is another reason why Zoe gets all these roams off. It's one thing to ping just missings, but if you know where she's going to go and you throw in like a danger ping on the river whenever Master Yi was walking down here because you saw Zoe walk to this side, that'd save a life. And that would have saved your flash, which would have meant you could have flashed once you had R, which would have meant that she was gankable at least. But you're wasting your resources. Both your health, your TP, your wards. You're wasting your resources. To prevent roams, like, where would I ward, right? Well, I would probably try and ward somewhere, like, maybe I'd ward, like, here. Maybe I'd ward river. Maybe I'd ward, like, up here. This one would stop a lot of jungle ganks too. So it would stop most roams. This is, again, one of my favorite wards. I like that you put it here earlier. It means you're listening to that one. But it was only there once this game. And it could have been there more. Even though I told you like that first window when this ward is valuable, you need to adapt to your matchups and know what's going to happen. Judging by the way the Camille is playing and always shoving in the Renekton, it makes sense that the Zoe would be roaming top like she does. She consistently roams top. Alright, well anyway, that's all I really got for you here. I'm sorry if it's kind of short, and I'm sorry if there's not too many things, but I know I ranted a lot about my basic stuff in our previous review. Little tips that will help you more generically is knowing how to posture in the lane to force someone to the side that you want them to go to. It was obviously warded the way she turned on the Yi there, so it probably wouldn't have worked in this situation. But if you're not doing that positioning here, even though it didn't work out, it means that you don't know how to force people to the correct side of the lane. It's simple as just positioning yourself on the opposite side that you want them to walk to. Yeah, and you got to work on your warding. Alright, again, sorry. That's it. Probably a short one.